So I hope that's right. It's going to both the group and the YouTube channel. So we'll see. So
Cool. Do you have access to play our cool intro video, Bill?
I don't. I didn't upload it into here, so I don't.
Ah,
So
that's okay. No problem. But just
it'll get
imagine
me.
that whole thing with the videotapes is happening now, like, and then we come in.
Super fun. Yeah. And hello. All right. Yeah.
Well,
There's already two people.
that's
It's
Bill
fine.
Carriola, Philadelphia.
How's it going?
I'm Calamity John Marr. We're
There
here
we go.
tonight. We did release the rules on the video store webpage, which was requested, so we did that. There's probably a few other finer points we didn't discuss yet. And we also never really did like a bracket reveal, even though we've been airing matches. So we're going to give you like an update of what that looks like so you can see what's coming up in the future.
It is safe to say, like, the matches that have been airing as far as the tournament, they are play-ins. So they're not like, so it's sort of like a preliminary round. So everyone is playing in actually goes into the rest of the bracket. So I guess it's the best way to put that. So because we're a big fan of play-ins, because it makes you feel like it means something if you have to play in to get there.
Yeah. So. In the wrestling community, we call them pigtail matches because they're little pigtails that go off the side of the tournament bracket. So all these pigtail matches are happening as we speak.
No shit.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
I never knew that. All right. Well, anyway, let's pop the bad boy in here. So the bracket split into two sides. So the first one, all these players listed here is what is referred to as the legacy bracket. This was people that were left over from the old league of name we don't say. So they were all bunched into here, and everybody that was guaranteed from the old league actually got a bye. So that's why you see John and Ryan and Robert and Sam and all those people. That's why they're listed. So we have the play-in matches, which have been airing, which I believe Aaron J versus Brian Payne.
Yep.
Which aired, and Jeremy Potters versus Robert Kastner, which aired. Oh, Sam Wilson had to buy. That's what it was.
Yeah, the top four point scorers in the old league got buys, and then on the other half of the bracket, the managers decided who gets a buy. But we'll get to that in a second. So as you'll see as we scroll through here, like myself, Sam Wilson, Scott, and Will all got buys in the first round.
Yep.
And the matches we have seen so far, we have seen the Aaron J. Ryan Payne match. We have seen the Jeremy Potters Robert Kastner match, and Antonio versus Nick. All have aired so far. Oh, and also Anthony Tiz and Steven Shepard also just dropped, I believe, this weekend. So all those matches have aired. And you'll see now that sets up the actual tournament where you'll see coming up soon, you'll see myself versus Ryan Payne.
It's your son. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'll see Bobby Seabot, Robert Kastner versus Sam Wilson. You'll see one of the best thumbnails you're ever going to see. You'll see Scott Harvey, Greta Gerwig's prom date versus Antonio Chavez. And then Anthony Tisdall, Will Cohen. And I'll let you guys, speculate what the strengths in that match
are. That was a time. That really was. So that match was something. So
I promise a banger.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the bracket, which is our new blood side of the bracket, some of the this match you will see. The last play-in match that has not aired is this Matt Quaylar Mark Menchaca match. Will be dropping this weekend. We've already seen Alex versus Kirk, Coho versus Holtzman, and Tony versus Chen, which sets up Matt Chen versus Caleb Boatman, who had a bye. Holtzman versus you, Bill, a civil war because Bill had a bye.
Yeah, even though I didn't want to be in this, but someone dropped out, so it's fine. So
we got Alex and Jake Marangoni coming up soon, and then the winner of the match you'll see this weekend will go on to play Payson in the second round. So that's where we're at so far. We know a little bit about what's going to happen, but we're going to let everybody else here be surprised.
Yeah,
some great matches coming up. We promise here on TLU.
Yeah. So, and I think it was like really important that we made sure everybody that was from the old league were their own bracket, and all the newer players that had signed up and were part of the draft this year were part of what we refer to as the new blood bracket. And we say new blood, but I mean, like they're all really well established. So
yeah, you'll see the older bracket people will go here. They'll play up to this slot here, and then the new blood people are going to play up to this slot here. So the actual finals will be the winner of the old school bracket and the winner of the new school bracket playing for the championship. So coming soon.
Yes. We do Mr. Mesa here. Any chance I can get in on this? Not the tournament. Fortunately, all drafting has taken place, so leagues and rosters are kind of set. But they're sure we'll be doing signups and things like that later. So
yeah, I think, Bill, we kicked this idea around, and good for Steve to ask that question. I do believe at the end of the season, we are going to keep track of all the records between the teams, and is it the team that the faction that has the lowest record overall will get disbanded and will redraft, or what do we decide?
We haven't ironed that part out yet, but essentially that's what's going to happen. Yeah, the idea is like the losing faction will be losing. So, and we may
factions will be able to factions will be able to keep their champions and like a legacy player. Everybody else will go back into the drafting pool. We'll do a recall for people that want to join the league. Just because you want to be in the league does not necessarily mean that you will be drafted into the league. That is at the manager's discretion to draft whoever they want. So be sure to shine up in other leagues so people know who you are, make a name for yourself, because the managers are going to draft, the talent. So be in there.
Yeah. Now, just so a heads up also. So all the players that are getting eliminated now out of the tournament, they are all soon enough, I believe, after this week, we'll start setting up the rooms for putting them all into the other mini tournament that we'll have, which will all lead and culminate in the short shot match, which we are still kind of working out the finer details of. But basically, it'll be winner's essentially money in the bank. So
we're gonna take the people that were eliminated in the first round plus 4 other people that were eliminated in the second round, put them into 6 matches. The winners of those 6 matches will play in a 6-man match, and the winner of that match is going to get what we're calling the short shot, which is an opportunity to basically hide backstage during a championship match and then surprise the champion of that match in a 10-question winner-take-all belt mini match.
Yep. And since this technically won't be like a full match, if the champion does lose, they will get a rematch, like
in full format. Yep.
Yeah, in full format. Yeah. Also, so while we're in the middle of the tournament here for the crown our singles champion, we have started setting up, and these will be rolling out soon. Teams, which is part of that because we did crown a teams champion.
Who's those champions?
That's me and Melissa Woody. So we did. So at the beginning of the year, all the players that signed up for the draft pool also mentioned like what teams they were in. So teams had to be drafted to whichever faction they went to, and we were starting to roll those out. I believe we'll have a few in, and then once we get like some wins and some losses, we'll have a clearer idea of like a picture to a title match. So yeah,
and we've also let the singles players on the teams join it. So we do have a few other teams that weren't drafted as teams, but teams that have come about as a result of just being in the league. So we're gonna have some teams that were drafted and some new teams debuting. And once we have a few rounds of play, we'll get to figure out a little picture to see who will challenge, who will be Bill and Melissa's first challengers.
Should be interesting, yeah, because we can't use Nightmare on Elm Street this time, so I'm kind of sad about that. So we got to learn a new strength. I know, it's going to be something different on branding for this channel.
Those Sedaris films are coming in, everybody. We start watching them.
Oh, I would love to.
It's allowed. We'll allow it in this league.
I know we allow it. We don't have crazy.
We don't have crazy like librarian rules in this league. It's the Wild West out here.
Yeah. So a few things because you guys have been watching some of the matches that have aired. So we did post some rules that are getting implemented, and one of the rules is it's going to basically the way it works is when we set up a room and you guys do drafting of categories. The way it's going to work is if you veto a category, this was the big rule, so people need to just know about it. Some people do, but just make sure everyone knows. So if you go in and let's say me and John are playing each other, and we draft our categories, let's say John picks Oscars, I veto Oscars. That means no Oscar question can come up in the entirety of that match in round 1, 2, or 3. So as we're in. Sometimes you might be writing like, oh, it's the 1980s is the category, and you might like who won Best Picture in 1985 might just show up. Well, that can't happen. So
the only exception would be if my actual strength was some kind of Oscar strength, but those would only be questions directed at me and round 1 question. Everything else would be knocked out with the exception of that round 2 category.
Of course, this does not apply to strength. So if you pick Oscars as your strength and not your general draft category, there's nothing you can do.
You can protect your category by making it your strength.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and when you do the drafting now, those are the questions you're going to get through the first 2 rounds. So all the categories you draft are the categories going to be round 1 and round 2, along with your strength, and then your mastery round stays intact. And yeah. So that was a tweak we made. I'm a big fan of it. I actually enjoy it. It makes it a lot easier on the writers because you know exactly what to do.
And another thing I didn't put in the rules document that I think we should talk about is we're like a player-friendly league. We're going to allow people to do like wacky strengths. The only caveat is we allow the players to debate out what encompasses that strength in the chat. So if somebody puts forward like, Andy Sedaris films, whatever, and you're like, well, I can't watch 5 of these films. Say it in the chat. We don't want you to have to potentially face a category where you're unable to watch the movies. So we advocate for you guys to advocate for yourselves in the chat. You are allowed to, basically shape your strength and shape your opponent's strength. Be as fair to each other as possible. But you could, to your heart's content, make whatever strength you want, so long as it's accessible and medial for your opponent.
Yeah. And if anybody has any questions that is currently watching, please hop in. We'll hang out for another minute or two, I guess. So it was just basically, questions about rules and the bracket revealed for the tournament. So
how was your day?
It was tiring.
I also had a tiring day.
I this week I've started my exercise, and it's just I found out I'm old. So
I also came from the gym, but I came straight from the gym to Why We Love Horror Trivia to this. So I owe myself a shower.
There's our landlord. Yeah.
Mr. Montenegro's here, everybody. The rent is on time, so we are allowed to post videos. That's good.
Yeah. So, and yeah. Also,
I will give you the movies I pick. I am happy to just share the movies I pick with you.
I almost make sure my shit's on Tubi or something. So there's no excuse. Yeah, you will see some. You will see some boobs. Cooking. Yeah,
I got some stuff cooking. And multiplex, I might not be allowed to do it, but I can do it here, so it's coming.
This dude is like 6.
Yeah, he's 6, and he's like, I don't. Kaiser, I'd love to know. Like, you probably do some kind of exercise, but you always look very well rested when I see you. You're always like, it's like you just woke up. You got your robe on every single time. Eternal youth, this kid.
Meanwhile, I'm slowly morphing into a freaking cyborg because I got to sleep with a machine now.
You have a CPAP or something?
I finally got a new CPAP.
I think I'm on that path too.
Oh yeah. No, well, apparently I'm dying. So I took a sleep study, and they're like, okay. Yeah, and I'm not making these results up. By the way, this isn't like hyperbole or me just like being a dick. But so I had to do this. I did an at-home sleep study, and they're like, "All right, these we don't say the word alarming enough in your results, but these are some alarming results." I was like, "Really? Okay, I'm sure I'm going to learn something. What would you find?" So they're like, "All right, so." We're looking at events per hour, which is basically where, you stop breathing or, like something happens. Basically, your heart has to kick into high gear in order to like send a message to your brain saying, hey, we're still alive. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so that's what we refer to as an event. I'm like, cool. And they're like, you wanted that under 5 an hour is an acceptable range. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, in 1 hour, you had 120.
120 in an hour?
I was like, that's a made up number. They're like, no, literally twice a minute you stop breathing. I was like, oh, that's Jesus.
That's like every other breath.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So the fact that I'm alive is a miracle, apparently. So I'm a miracle. I'm a water-headed miracle baby.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room? Did they tell you to stop smoking?
They don't know that. I didn't tell them anything about that. So.
I'm sure they mentioned that. Like, this will help.
Yeah, among other, or maybe, like don't have Twinkies for breakfast. So
Twinkies for breakfast is fine if you quit smoking.
I don't think so. Yeah. So anyway, so that was fun. Yeah, but when your doctor uses terms like pre-diabetic at 45, that's not good. So
yikes. Well, we're pulling for you, and I'm very happy you went to the gym today.
So is my blood pressure. Yeah,
I'm trying to get to the gym more myself because I'm living in a world where at any moment my son can jump me and kill me. So I don't want that to happen. I've got to.
That's why I didn't have kids. So yeah.
He's trying to.
Me and my ex-wife.
He definitely can kill my wife. I'm gonna
Yeah.
come home to her dead one day. That's gonna happen.
Me and my ex-wife, we don't agree on a lot. Not having kids is the best thing we ever did to each other. So.
Well, I did that twice. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
Look them up. They're great kids.
All right, cool.
Any more questions coming in?
I don't think so. I think everyone's kind of shut up. So,
well, you know where to find us.
Yeah, you can send us hate mail. It's fine. So, I'll obligatory buy our shit. Yes, I feel like we are contractually obligated to always say that. So,
buy, not just our shit. Buy the shit. Buy all of Mr. Montenegro's shit. He loves making shit for you to buy. So buy that.
Yeah. I think we got that T-shirt coming, which is the silhouette of like Kirk saying a fun quote from an upcoming match, which I can't wait for it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop calling him Kirk. I think that's coming up soon.
I think we know what we're gonna call him now. This is so good. All right, cool. Yes,
of course.
We're just gonna leave that there. Yeah. Yes. All right. I don't think we got anything else. So with that,
if you have any questions, find us. Yeah,
just post in the group. We'll answer, or we won't. I don't know. We don't play by rules. So we're loners, Dottie. We're rebels. So yeah. Anyway, have a good night.